All right, and we are going. Stu Beath. I said that right, didn't I?
Yes. Yep.
Cool, dude. How are you,
I'm
man?
doing well, man. It's good to be on the podcast here. I've been listening to the last couple episodes. I'm excited to be here, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm so pumped to have you on because, we met a little over a year ago now at that networking event. I think
hmm
is that the only time you've been to that? Have you been
Yeah, no,
back?
that was the only time I went. I wanted to go see Sean.
Yeah, ditto. I haven't been back
Yep.
either.
No, I haven't been back. But he's somebody that interests me, so I wanted to go see. And then I remember when we were there, we chatted for probably 20 minutes afterwards, and I was super intrigued by you.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this dude's got something. Like minds think.
Yeah, dude. I was just super pumped to be able to connect with you there because, like, you always hope to kind of go to those things and maybe you meet somebody there that is kind of on the same like frequency as
hmm
but maybe not. But it was super cool. Like, and we didn't start talking until like the very end.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
the guy who told me I should talk to you, he man, he had like the suit, and then like I met him later on after that, and he was
Uh-huh.
trying to like sell me on like one of those fucking like supplement
Oh
pyramid
yeah, yeah,
things.
yeah.
I was like, no, dude. But at
No,
least he told me to go your way, so it
yeah,
was super cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed talking to you.
definitely.
Um, yeah, so fucking like we were in that situation. We saw Sean. What'd you think of that talk?
Dude, I'm just a huge fan of his.
Yeah,
I think his approach. Well, I love his podcast, but his approach to nutrition, I think, is right on.
yeah,
It's kind of like, well, like when I think about nutrition, like I'm a huge believer. Like you got to figure out like what works for you.
yeah.
And that's something I talk to my clients all the time about. It's like, some people do really well with like keto. Like I'm
Hmm.
somebody who I like a low carb diet, and I see results that way. But then there's other people that are need carbs.
Yeah.
Have the carbs, and like it depends on like athlete or if weight loss or whatever.
Right.
So
Yeah, especially with those athletes, like they definitely like a ketogenic diet. Like when you're training super hard like that, like you're gonna need some carbohydrate
need them.
to
Yeah.
help fuel that like Joe's training
Yep.
sessions. So I mean that may not be ideal. Yeah, an individualized approach is definitely the better way to go. The problem is I've noticed is that everybody wants just to be told what to do.
I
Like, do you
know. I
experience
know
that?
all the time, dude. That's one of my biggest frustrations with clients, and I work with I work with some high level athletes, I work with some high school athletes, and I work with a lot of just general pop 22 to 60 years old,
Yeah,
weight loss or even weight gain clients.
at the whole spectrum.
And everybody wants that, like, the answer, and like one of my things is there's no answer. Like
None.
you got to figure it out for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've gone, like I feel like my body fluctuates. My wife always gets mad at me because I'm constantly buying new clothes because my body's constantly changing because I'm experimenting with different diets and stuff. But you have to find out what works for you.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's different, and experiment. Like if you're trying to lose a bunch of weight and it's not working, try something different.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or if you're trying to gain weight and it's not working, try something different.
Right.
Because everybody's bodies reacts, different ways to different types of diets or different types of nutrition plans. You got to figure out what works for you.
Yeah, it's like they just want to be told, well, tell me what to eat.
Right.
And it's like, well, man, I can tell you what I eat, but it
Yeah.
may not work for you.
Exactly, dude.
And
That's so true.
like you gotta like be in tune with your body. As
Right.
like as hippie as it sounds, like you gotta start like just kind of being more conscious and aware
Yep.
and just get in touch with your body. Like,
Yeah, and I think
listen to it.
intuitively as human beings, like we know, like, okay, chicken and vegetables is good, pizza, burgers, and ice cream is bad. Like
Yeah,
you intuitively know. Like, so people are always like, well, what do I eat? Well, I'm like, vegetables,
real food.
lean meats, real food, plant-based stuff. Like that's good food.
Yeah,
Pizza, French fries, burgers, ice cream, like that's not
it's not good stuff. Well,
right.
the problem is, I'll probably say that like 1,000 times this podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm working on this contract right now, and I'm in this office, and I watch these people, and like they're just always looking for like what's easy, and
Yep.
and to their credit, I feel like there's a lot of like misinformation, and
hmm
and for just decades, people are just taught the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily their fault, but they're always looking for the easy thing, like they'll go for the frozen dinner
Yep.
because it's a smart one or
Yep.
something. Or, you're on Weight Watchers. Oh, this is a point, or this isn't the
Yep.
point. It's just like, well, what's the nutritional value
Yeah.
there?
Or you look at like the juice cleanses. That's big right now, dude. I've got some clients right now that are doing these like juice cleanses, and I'm like, and they're like, well, what do you think about this? And like, and this is something I struggle with as a trainer sometimes, is like just giving it to them like straight, and not
Yeah.
like, because I have a lot empathy for people. Like I understand like they're looking for the easy thing, and it's like, okay, here's this juice cleanse. You're gonna do it for a week. Here's everything you need. Don't eat, just drink this juice. And
Yeah.
it's like that probably isn't going to work, or it's not sustainable. It's like the whole 30 diet. I know, like my wife has a bunch of friends that have done the whole 30 and they've seen results in 30 days, because yeah, that there's some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
But then they gain it all back the next month because they're off the whole 30, and it's like, okay, back to, whatever, pizza and burgers and stuff.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, you got to find something sustainable.
Yeah, so it seems to be like a lot of the times the approach is like they're trying to get to an end destination as
Yeah.
opposed to like starting with like the idea of like, all right, well, this is just life now. Like this is
Right.
just how I'm eating.
Yep.
This is just how it is,
It's
and then
it's
trying to figure out what works for them.
exactly, dude. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It is a lifestyle.
Yeah, and it really starts with like your mindset going into it.
Hmm.
So how do you like to address that like with your clients?
Yeah, so I mean, because it comes up all the time. Because I tell my client, and especially like if we're talking about like a weight loss client, like somebody who, or somebody who's just trying to get fit, who might be like a middle-aged person. I'll tell them, listen, you got to find out what works for you, and
Mhm.
you got and take direct inventory of everything you're putting into your body on a given day. I don't think people realize like, um, you there are so many empty calories that you're eating that you don't even think about.
Yes.
Like, so let's say somebody's cooking dinner, let's say I'll have somebody like log their dinner, or log their day's worth of, activities food wise.
Mhm.
And they're cooking dinner and they're not realizing like, I'm eating these chips and guac, and they're not counting that. But then that's tons of like extra carbs, extra calories going into their body that they're not even like thinking about. Or like, okay, I'm eating this like lean meat and vegetables, but it's doused in, ranch dressing or something.
Right.
Like there's so many, like you have to take inventory of like everything that is going in your body.
Yeah.
And like, or drinks like soda. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? People, there's so many like empty calories that people are putting in that they don't even like think about.
Right. Yeah, people drink a lot of calories. Everybody wants to overestimate like how much they actually do,
Hmm.
and they always underestimate how much they eat.
Right.
It's
It's
just
it's unbelievable. Yeah, I know. And like I try to have like empathy for it, and like just kind of maybe going off topic just a little bit. Like I was at the Cardinal game on Friday night,
Mhm.
and there was this woman, sitting the row in front, and a couple seats over, and I mean she was melting into two different seats.
Yeah.
And she's eating, she's drinking a huge soda, and she's got nachos, and she got hot dogs, and I'm just like looking at her, and I was like turning to my buddies, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, like, are you happy?
They
Like,
can't be.
I know, and I try, like, man, it's hard for me sometimes, because like, I like to be a person that shows empathy, but like it's hard sometimes. I see that person, I'm like, there's a reason, not to be like cruel right now, but like there's a reason you look like that. You're drinking all that soda, you're eating that hot dog and those nachos over and over and over.
Yeah.
Or like I'll be like driving to the gym to work at like, I get there at 4:45, it'll be like 4:30. I'll drive past the McDonald's, and the McDonald's drive-through is like out the door.
Yeah.
I'm around the corner. I'm like, you people are on your way. It's like Monday morning. I'm like, that is not how you start your
Right.
week.
Yeah.
You know?
I get frustrated with that too. And I'm like, why are you doing that? And I was thinking about that one day. I was like, I wonder if it's just, I'm just like, I just want people to like feel as good as they possibly can, like
Hmm.
how I know how good they can
Hmm.
feel. And I always tell people, I'm like, you don't know how good you can feel until you feel it
Yeah.
because you don't know how bad you're feeling right now. Like you
Right.
think you're fine, but the body is so adaptive
Yep.
and it will find a way to cope and make it work.
Yep.
So it's like you think you're fine until like you're just not.
Well, they're used to ingesting the bad foods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so for instance, for me, like I am super clean throughout the week. Like like I know exactly what's going in my body, and I'm
Mhm.
super clean. And then like sometimes on Saturday nights, the wife and I'll go get pizza, or we'll get something unhealthy. Dude, I know it the next day. Like I am messed up. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, oh.
Those pizzas look so good you post.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
I gotta go
need
there.
you need loafers, dude. It's
I gotta
unreal.
check it out, dude.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's so good. But yeah, like I feel like for people that they're constantly eating those bad foods, they don't they might not feel the effects of it. But when you get on like when you get eating right, and then
Yeah.
you have that bad meal, you realize
You
like,
feel it.
whoa, and it shows like how bad that food is for you.
Yeah.
Or like they've done that thing with like a McDonald's. I don't know how recent this study was, but they did that thing where they took like a McDonald's burger and they just set it out on a plate, and
Yeah.
they let it there for like a month, and it
Yeah.
was like looked the same.
Like this
It's
is
like
not food.
that's not food. That's what's in your body just sitting there.
Yeah, it's like you're just
Oh,
eating plastic and
right,
chemicals and
right.
it's
I'm sure I hope they've changed now,
yeah.
but
I'm sure
um,
they've done something different, but
mhm,
yeah, man, it's just crazy the things that people what people think is food.
yeah,
It's just like no, that's not food. Like let's shop the perimeter. Like I'm
yeah,
amazed by how many people like don't know how to read labels and
yeah,
like they don't know how to actually shop.
yeah, yeah. And like I know we kind of got off on a little bit of a we were kind of ranting on some people there, but like
It's all
it
good.
is
That's
hard.
what we're
Like
here for.
it's hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you
it's
don't know
you
what
don't
you
know
don't
what to
know.
believe.
You know, you don't
Hmm.
know what to believe, and you don't know what you don't know. And I, like you said, people are kind of looking for that easy way, and that's why these, these the wrap companies,
Oh
where
yeah,
they like these girls think they're gonna lose a bunch of weight and look good by
y-
wrapping their bellies and
yeah.
whatever that
We're
crap
always looking for
is.
the
Easy
next
way,
thing.
yeah. Where it's like the best is always just okay, eat real foods, okay, and get a little bit of exercise. It's
Yeah,
as simple as that.
yeah. Get some
You know what I
movement.
mean? Yep.
You know what I mean? Get some sunlight. Get some air.
Yep. And I just posted on Instagram, I think, on a story or a post the other day. It was like the most underrated, talking about like an athlete, like the most underrated recovery tool, or just a normal human being, is sleep and sunlight. It's
100%.
so underrated. You
Oh
know what I mean?
man, yeah.
Like if you can get 8 hours, 7, 8 hours of sleep a night, get a little exposure to sunlight, move a little bit, and have it, eat some real foods. I mean, you don't need anything else.
Oh man, it's just yeah, it's as simple as that.
Hmm.
Uh, Talking about sleep, going back to Sean Stevenson, dude,
Yeah.
like that kind of opened my eyes to how important sleep is.
Hmm.
And then just having done other research since then, there's a couple other like great books on sleep.
Hmm.
They're on my queue on
Uh huh.
on audio,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
on Audible rather. But like just prioritizing that alone
Hmm.
will just change so many things.
Right.
It's amazing.
And it's a mindset. Like you said earlier, it's a mindset. It's a lifestyle. Like and kind of going back to what how I talk to my clients. It's important to understand that. Like,
Hmm.
listen, this isn't like we're not doing this for 1 week. We're not doing this isn't a 30-day
Right.
cleanse or whatever those things are. This is lifestyle. If you want to see real change and have
Hmm.
a real impact on your body and like how you feel in your life,
Yeah.
it's you gotta be in it to win it. And
Right.
it gets easier and easier. It's hard. Like trust me. Like I know. I have family that eats like that. Like
Absolutely.
that are super unhealthy. And it's hard. And
Oh
like I
yeah.
said, you don't know what you don't know. And it takes time. It
Hmm.
takes you gotta kind of. It's almost like getting into a rhythm.
Yeah.
Like meal prepping on Sundays or having a plan and again experimenting with different foods. What makes you healthy,
Right.
or what makes you feel good.
Right. Yeah. Figure out what you like, what you don't like. Go
Yep.
experiment. Try new things.
100%.
I always feel like I talk to people and like they'll want me to like give them like meals, and I'm
Hmm.
just like, dude, I don't know what you like to eat. Like I
Yeah.
can give you some ideas, and like I heard this analogy one time. Like there's chefs, and then there's like cooks.
Yeah.
Like a cook wants to have like all the measurements. They need to know
Hmm.
step by step how to make this. They're like a baker, they need a
Right.
recipe. And then a chef, which is kind of the way I operate. Like I don't measure anything out, dude. I'm just like, oh, this looks good. Like
Here we go.
this is
Yep.
enough. Like that's yeah, that would be good.
Hmm.
And then but like so I took on a fighter. I was working with him on his last camp with his nutrition, helping him with his weight cut, just make sure he feels better. So that way to just make the weight cut easier. He's never missed weight, but we wanted to make it easier. And then when he performs, he's just feeling better.
Hmm.
And when we were when I first sat down with him, we were talking. He was like, "All right, well, I want you to tell me like what to eat and like tell me how much of it to eat." And this, I'm like, "Look, man," I go, "I'm not gonna do that. Like, there are people who will, and that would be great. Like, you can go to those people, but like, I'm gonna tell you what kind of foods to eat." And then you're gonna have to listen to your body and like figure it out, and we'll dial some things in along the way, but like this isn't like a static thing. Like this is
Yeah.
a living plan. Like we'll talk and we'll make adjustments as we go, and we'll
Yeah.
figure it out, but
I'm
like
not gonna write down like, okay, you're gonna eat 4 ounces of chicken
yep,
and
and a half a cup of yeah,
2 apples and a half a cup of broccoli or whatever. No, this is like you got to figure out kind of what works for you,
right,
and like and what's sustainable.
right,
You know what I mean? Like can you really go through your life like measuring out every single thing? Maybe you can't. I'm not like that. Like I need to
Yeah.
kind of just go by almost like the seat of my pants.
Yeah.
Like here we go. I'm gonna have a little bit of this beef. I'm gonna have some broccoli. I'm not measuring exactly.
Yeah.
And like kind of going back to what you were saying, it's similar with exercise.
Right.
I'll get a DM and it's like from like I train a lot of baseball players. I train some pro baseball players. And then they've shouted me on Instagram, so I've gotten some following from like middle school or high school baseball players.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Give me one exercise that I should do to help baseball." And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, I've never seen you move. I have no idea what you're capable of. Like, there's no one. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, you gotta again, you gotta figure out kind of like what works for you. And that's one of the things that the first thing I do when I'm training a client, athlete or client, it's talking. Like that first week, like I'm probably not gonna have a plan. I don't have a plan for you. My
No.
plan is to figure out how are we gonna get to, figure out what works for you
Right.
and what you enjoy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's athletes that you'll train that, they need to do some there needs to be some certain things that are involved.
Yeah.
But like when you're talking about like a GPP client, like a 22 to 60, 70-year-old person, like find out what works for them.
Right.
Do they hate hopping on a bike and doing 30-second intervals on the assault bike? Okay, then let's try to find something else that's, maybe gives them a similar
Right.
stimulus that's not the bike.
Right.
Do they absolutely love the Concept 2 railroad? Okay, let's probably program a lot more of that stuff in there. They're going to enjoy that more. They're going to get more out of it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then maybe sneak in some of those other things that they need.
Yeah.
But there's no one size fits all
Nope.
method for
And
anything.
everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta assess them, figure out like what are their imbalances, like what do we
Right.
need to address to improve,
Mhm.
and then kind of while we're addressing those, obviously try to work towards the other goals that they have as well.
Right.
But it's like sometimes we got to like take a step back and we have to address these things first.
Right.
Because we can't get you there unless we do this.
Right. That's why
And it takes time.
yeah, like the online programming thing, like you see a lot of these guys like throwing these programs out and it's like, oh, you got to be careful with that because like you don't know who's looking at that program or
Right.
who like you don't know what they're capable of. Like you might have, goblet squats in there, but that person probably should have their heels elevated when they do a squat because they have zero mobility in their ankles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I always get like worried, like, I'll get like my uncle email me. He'll be like, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds. What do I do? I'm like, well, goblet squats would be good, but I've never seen you move or squat. Like,
Yeah.
if like, so like an online program, it's like, I need to see a person move. Like just come into the gym like one time and just see you move before you
Yeah.
can like, write a program for somebody or give a protocol, like an exercise protocol for somebody.
What do you think about doing like the assessments like via like Skype or something?
It's fine. You need to like seeing a person move. Like
Yeah.
I've personally never done that, but like I'd much rather do that than just write a program blind for somebody.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like it would be kind of difficult to get all the angles that you need.
Yeah.
But I mean, people are doing it.
Yeah, like I've got like when I think about like an athlete that I'll train or like a general pop person that I'll train, like I have some exercises that I want to incorporate that I think are like some of my go-tos. But if I've never seen that person move, like they might not be capable of that. Or
Yeah.
like for instance, I started training this like 14-year-old kid the other day. He's super awkward right now. He's like going through puberty. He's probably like he's 14. He's probably 5'11", maybe 6 feet. Super skinny and just has an awkward squat.
Oh yeah.
So like I saw him like doing an air squat. So I'm like, okay. So I wanted to program goblet squat for him. So I just stuck a couple plates under his heels.
Yeah.
So his heels were elevated and he was able to get into like a much better position.
Right.
But like if I'd never seen that kid,
Yeah.
in person and move, I would have never been able to do that. Like that's why you get like a DM like, give me an exercise to do. Well, goblet squat's good, but like, do your heels need to be elevated?
Yeah, like
So-
do you have that ankle mobility?
Right.
That's one thing I'm struggling with right now is my ankle mobility.
Yeah.
I'm working on it, man.
It's tough, man.
It's a tough one.
Oh
man.
yeah.
It's a tough one.
Like I think like wearing like heel like shoes, like Olympic lifting shoes.
Yeah.
Or powerlifting shoes, or just sticking some plates underneath your
Yeah.
underneath your heels.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I'll put you into a much better position.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like that's a good way to kind of like fix that like in the meantime.
Yeah,
But like I'm always like barefoot now. Like I'm just
Yeah.
trying to like just build that.
that's good,
mo-
dude.
mobility,
Yeah,
man.
going barefoot, dude. That'll test your ankle and hip mobility for sure.
All the time. Well, I first started doing barefoot training in like 2000 and I think it was 2010. I got some Vibrams. So I was walking around those, and I've done some trail running on those and stuff like that. And then also just like being in jujitsu, I've done that for 9 years, like in fighting and whatnot.
Yep.
Always barefoot
Mhm.
doing that. So like I feel like my feet are really strong,
Yep.
but like I've definitely like just kind of being in that constant elevated state from shoes
Yep.
has just really hindered my ankle mobility.
Yeah, you do an air squat and like with your heels elevated and like lifter shoes, and then you go take those shoes off and you do them barefoot. You'll notice a huge
Yeah,
difference.
yeah. I'm a big fan of barefoot training.
Definitely.
Yeah, kind of build those feet. I feel like shoes, and not everybody would maybe agree, but I feel like shoes are like it's like having a cast on your foot. Like it
Yeah.
kind of prevents your foot from fully spreading out
Yep.
and like gripping the ground and like building those muscles in your foot. So eventually it just becomes weak,
100%.
especially with women. Like it's like I was comparing it the other day to like Chinese foot binding. Not
Uh-huh.
that extreme, but like women are always in high heels,
Yeah.
extreme elevation, all this pressure like on their knee, their calves are constantly flexed. It's just like not good.
Yeah.
And then their foots are like just crammed together, like toes are like in these pointed shoes.
Yeah.
It's just a recipe for
Yeah,
disaster.
I forget where it was, either a podcast or I read this somewhere. Somebody who I respect in the industry. I forgot. I wish I could remember where. But he talks about how he walks around barefoot. Like he'll take his dog for a walk barefoot every day for like a 10-minute walk,
Yeah,
just so he can like, because there's so many like nerves on the bottom of your feet
yeah,
that aren't activated, because like even these shoes, I'm wearing these Adidas Cloud shoes right now. Like these things are so good. It literally feels like I'm like walking on a cloud.
yeah.
So
So
like none of
soft.
those nerves are
Hmm.
getting activated. But this dude, I forget who it was. I wish I could remember who it was. But he takes his dog for like a 10-minute walk every day, and he goes barefoot, like walking on the sidewalk, like
Yeah.
rocks, like you're
Hmm.
activating all
Yep.
those nerves and those feelings.
Yeah, I do that every day too.
Do you?
Every
Yeah.
day I go
Oh,
for
that's
a
good.
walk every day, like barefoot.
Yeah, dude, I did it. After I heard that, wherever I heard that, I did it for like a couple days, and I was like, all right, I can't do this
Can't do
anymore.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my feet have gotten a lot tougher and they've gotten stronger. I honestly, I feel better just with the grounding aspect of it.
Hmm.
Just kind of discharging like kind of all that like that energy like within me, and then like you get those free electrons from like the earth, and like it just kind of
Definitely.
calms you.
Yeah.
I feel it.
100%.
I feel it for sure.
100%.
Cool, man. Well, it's been a lot of good rambling right now,
Yeah.
but let's back up for like half a second.
Yep.
And let's just tell the folks a little bit, I guess, about you
Hmm.
and like your background and like kind of what's your story like.
Definitely.
Where like where did you start at and what got you
Yeah.
into?
So I really started to get into strength and conditioning probably 7 or 8 years ago. So I played college baseball, and then after college I played independent baseball out in Yuma, Arizona for like 2 months. Um, got cut after 2 months. Thought growing up I was going to be a major league baseball player.
Just knew it.
100% knew it. That
Mm.
was what we were destined to be.
Yeah.
And I'd always kind of been into working out and fitness, because I knew that was a big part of it.
Right.
Getting to the big leagues. Graduated college, went and played 2 months, and just did terrible
Yeah.
at the lowest of lows,
Bro.
like pro baseball, and realized, okay, we're not. And I was 22. I was like, we're not gonna get to the big leagues.
Yeah.
So then I kind of had to figure out, okay, what am I gonna do with my life? Obviously, I'd always been into strength conditioning. I've always been somebody I'm not like, growing up, I had like a lot of my friends. I was always kind of different. Like a lot of my friends were getting like internships in college with these, big like corporate America, and I was playing, independent baseball or playing like summer baseball. And I remember like having conversations with my friends, being like, aren't you gonna get an internship? No, man, I'm playing baseball this summer. And being like
Yeah.
21, they're like, well, what's that gonna do? It's like. And then almost like me being confused, like, well, because I want to be a major league baseball player, man.
What are you talking about? Like, does that
And
make
like I
sense?
always I look back on those experiences like that. That's what ultimately got me to where I am today, is having gone through all that.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've always been kind of different. Like I was never gonna be somebody who's sitting behind a desk,
Mm-hmm.
like doing a 9 to 5. I've always been different. So after baseball ended, I needed to figure out like what am I gonna do. So I started training at this gym. I don't want to talk about it right now. What gym that was, because we've had a falling out since then with me and
Okay.
that guy.
Was it like a private? You don't have to
It
tell
was
me,
it was
like
it was a private facility, kind
private
of similar to
facility?
what I do at Output.
Okay.
Private facility. Started just training there, was just in love with the kind of training.
Yeah.
You know, it was very like, you know, kind of high intensity, a lot of like mind work, like, you know, hard workouts, kind of CrossFit-ish. Not CrossFit, but like that type of thing where you're pushing, 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 trying to find like, you know, the line of like what you think you can do and then trying to cross that line.
Right.
And I just fell in love with that. I fell in love with that kind of training. Ended up doing an internship with him for like probably 2 months. Learned a lot. And then started training. My first client was I trained my best friend, my brother, and my dad. I had 3 clients. And I trained my best friend. It was at 6 in the morning, and I trained my brother at 10 a.m. And I remember I just sat at the gym and hung out for 4 hours in between those clients.
Yeah.
Which was kind of weird. But like, and now looking back on it, I was like, shit, man,
It's a lot.
I know that's tough. But yeah, started out and then ended up moving. I've been to like I ended up working at like 2 or 3 different gyms over the last 8 years until we got an opportunity. Actually, we're coming up on a year that we opened Output. We were actually inside of a baseball training facility, and the baseball training facility was expanding, and they were looking for someone to come in and run a gym inside of there, own it. It's a totally separate, you know, separate business, separate entity. And I saw that Facebook, and I reached out to him. And the next thing you know, we were in business, 4,200 square feet.
That's awesome. From a Facebook message, you saw it and you acted.
I acted, you know,
Yeah.
and there was some circumstances that happened like 2 years ago when I first saw that it was just kind of like it was destined.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I saw that and I was like, whew. And I've been lucky enough partner. CJ Young, I think you follow him on Instagram, and then we've got one, you know, Paul. He's kind of our like marketing and helps with the business stuff.
Yeah.
But we got a great team, and then we have a great team of, you know, independent contractors. We've just kind of grown over the last year. We started with 2, and then now I think we're up to like 7 or 8 people are training clients at Output right now.
Yeah, that's
is
awesome.
independent contractors.
Oh, nice.
I know one of our when we started about a year ago, one of our 6-month goals was to have like 2 or 3 employees. And we don't have any employees right now, but we have like 8 independent contractors, which kind of has been served as kind of our employees.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're still like building a team.
Right, building a team, and like all these independent contractors, like we're close. Like you know, it's a team. You know, I'm not their boss, like, you know, they know that, you know, but it's like a brotherhood in there, you know, and it's awesome, like, because, you know, we all go to work you know, we all joke around, like, there's no better job, man. We get to help people every single day, and all different types of people, you know, and it's cool going to Output because, like, you'll come in there, you know, on a given day, and you'll have an NHL hockey player, an MLB, you know, a pitcher, or you'll have this like 40-year-old who's lost like 30 pounds,
Right.
you know, or you'll have somebody coming into the gym for the first time who's never worked out, who needs to lose that 40 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's cool, like, seeing like all the different types of people coming through the door every day.
Yeah, man, you guys have an amazing facility.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been in there, but I've checked out like the pictures and just kind of watched you guys, like, your progression over the past year or so, and you guys have just been taking it to the next level, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm planning like a 1-year like Instagram, Facebook post that I'm gonna do, and I've been looking at all like the old pictures, like when the building was like under construction. You know, when we had just like the kind of the bare bones layout of it, and I was looking through all the old pictures. I'm like, oh man, we come a long way. Like, it looks a lot better now than it did, you know, not 12 months ago, 9 months now, 6 months. Like, it's crazy to see kind of the progression and where it's gone.
Yeah, just constant, just always
Keeping
progressing.
adding, keep adding.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of right now at our almost to our limit at our current space.
Yeah.
I know we're probably, you know, we've been actively thinking about, you know, expanding, whether it's in the current facility or opening like a second location.
Oh, yeah.
Constantly trying to figure out, you know, how we're going to make that work, where are we going to do it, you know, how are we going to do it, what are we going to do? Because, you know, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah, you really are, man. Like, just you can't be stagnant.
Right. And I think we have a good team. Like, I think, you know, our guys are, you know, we have some big aspirations. I mean, we want to make it the mecca of we want professional athletes to be flying in from out of town in their off season to come work at our facility for a couple weeks.
Yeah, well, you're well on your way.
Yeah, I know. And if you're not dreaming big, man, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what?
You know?
Like, I mean, I feel like I feel weird talking about the shit that I want to
Yeah.
do with people.
I do, dude. I do too. Like, honestly, like, just having said that right to you right now, I'm like, man, some people are probably gonna listen to that and be like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. Like,
No,
I don't
man,
care,
dude.
you know. Like, dude, I have the biggest. I'll talk to my wife about my goals sometimes. She's looking at me like, oh, dude, you are insane. And I'm like, it is what it is. I gotta put these out there.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Like, you have to, man. Like, I'll say things to people, and I know they think I'm fucking crazy. Like,
Yeah.
even if it's not like financial or something, like I'll
Mhm.
say like all the time, like, yeah, I'm gonna live to 100
Yeah.
plus. Like,
Yeah.
no problem. That's
Mhm.
what I'm gonna do.
Mhm.
And people are just like, what do you mean? Like, you die at 70? Like,
Yeah.
like no, bro. Like,
No.
what are you talking about? I got a long time left on this
Well,
shit.
it's
dude.
like law of attraction
Barring something
too.
crazy happen,
Yeah,
right?
right. But
yeah.
it's like law of attraction. I'm a huge believer in law of attraction.
Oh yeah.
Like, you start talking about stuff and you start verbalizing it, thinking it, and then dude, it's unbelievable what happens.
Yeah.
Like, I look at, there's some personal things about me that I really don't want to get into on the podcast, but like, I'm sober. So I had suffered big time with some drugs and alcohol stuff. Got sober about 2 years ago.
Congratulations,
And I
man.
appreciate it. Just less than 2 years, and it was like right after that. It was like 2 months after that is when I got that Facebook message about output.
Exactly.
And I remember texting my wife being like, and then when that started to kind of come, I was like, I knew it. Like, I just needed to get sober, and then things are going to start to fall into place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it going back to that law of attraction, you start thinking things, and then you start believing it, and then they
Yeah.
start to happen, and it's
Yeah.
like, whoa, like,
Yeah, dude.
how did that happen?
Just snowballs. I think
Yeah.
that belief is like a crucial piece of that. Like, if you
Yep.
don't believe it for real,
Right.
it won't happen.
But if you believe it, it's crazy. Like, what starts to
How things-
happen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if two and a half years ago, if you were to tell me I'd be where I am today, I'd be like, dude, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
No chance.
Yeah.
And I'm not even. I'm nothing right now. Like, I'm
Nowhere
not. It's
you
not like
wanna
I'm.
be, but, like,
yeah. Like, I'm not. And I'm not.
Far
I'm,
from where you were.
right. Far from where I was. Like, near death. Like, near divorce. All that stuff. And then now I'm sitting here. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And I attribute a lot of that to, like, law of attraction, like belief, like. And then just keep pushing,
Yeah, dude,
pushing,
being
pushing.
positive, like
Yep.
choosing the inputs that you allow into your life,
Mhm.
cutting out negative people, dude.
Yep.
I've had to do that, man, and it kind of feels shitty at sometimes,
Yeah.
but it's just
Wait,
like
so yeah, let's dive into this a little bit. I like this stuff. So like 5 people, you are the 5 people you
Yeah.
surround yourself with. Like, I've got some people in my life, that I've cut out. And I've got some people now that even like I could probably like separate a little bit more from.
yeah.
So how do you go about doing that? Or like have you cut some people out?
Yeah, I have. So I don't know if it's like a good or bad thing, but like for me, like I've always kind of kept my circle really small anyway. So that kind of can make it really hard cutting certain people out.
Yep.
But like, man, like I have, there's one guy in particular who, he's like an older guy, and like we've kind of been friends, and over the past like year or two, like we've become closer and just hanging out and stuff. And there's a time to where like a year ago I got let go from like my corporate gig, and that's actually kind of what started this whole chain reaction. This was probably a month or two before I actually met you. Got let go from my job. I was there for like 5.5 years, and then like that set this whole motion into effect of like changing the way I think about things. So like we were hanging out quite a bit. But then, so yeah, like we were hanging out for probably like 2 or 3 months. So, okay, let me back up. So I lost my job, and then like I took a contract like 2 weeks later, but it didn't start for like 6 weeks. So there was probably like 2 months to where I was just doing my own thing, which was really actually nice. So I was hanging out with him a little bit during that time, and it was all right. And then like something bad would happen to him, and then like I try to help him out or something, and then like fast forward like a year plus later now, I've probably like there's 2 or 3 instances I could think of to where I would help him, but then there's always another thing. He just keeps shooting himself in the foot. It's just like at a certain point, dude, it's like you're the fucking problem, bro. Like,
Right.
I just realized like I can't keep helping him, and then like it's like I'm going through my own shit, and like you still can't get your own shit together too. It's like I don't understand.
It's affecting
this.
you negatively.
Yeah. So like he actually. I saw him maybe like the other day, and like I was talking to him, and it was just, man, dude, I can't fucking catch a break,
Dude, I
and
hate
this is bad and that's bad. And I don't know if you saw that Joe Rogan clip about the I can't catch a break people, like get the fuck away from
Get
me,
away.
dude. And that's
It's a
how
cancer, dude.
and
It's a
that's how I
cancer.
feel. Yeah. So
100%.
like I just slowly just kind of just stop. I
Yeah.
just stopped going over there. Like
Yeah.
I just quit kind of talking to him, and like now when I see him, like it's real short.
Yep.
Real short conversations.
Yeah,
And
you don't want to.
I feel weird about
Yeah,
that,
no,
but it's
but
just
dude, you
like,
can't like can't catch a break. Yeah, well, because you're probably always thinking about that. So that's what you see. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like I'm somebody who like I just try to like I try to go optimism, positivity, just like
all the time.
overload.
Yeah,
You know what I
dude.
mean? And it doesn't happen all the time. I mean, I'm
You're
definitely
human.
somewhat, yeah, exactly. Like, you see, I bitch and moan to my wife all the time, but like I really try to go overload on like positivity and optimism because I thrive on that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And I can almost convince myself to see like the good in certain
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Like, and I'm a huge, like everything happens for a reason.
Hmm.
Like when I was going through my struggles, with, substance abuse, like I didn't see like, okay, this is gonna end up being for good. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna wake up one day and I'm gonna be
Yeah,
able to figure this out, and it's all gonna come like full circle.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, but when I was in the middle of that, it was like, this is hell. Like, why is this happening?
yeah,
You don't like think about, hey, this is happening for a reason. This is gonna bring you to,
yeah.
where I am today.
Right.
But and I can't stand being around the people that are just like negative and
Right. It's like,
the
well,
world's against me, and always that's why it's tough. Like, I'm pretty big on Twitter. I like that's where I get like all my news, and I always have to unfollow these like like all the news stuff like CNN or Fox News because it's just always like it's always bad.
hmm
It's always like this person's bad, that person's bad, or like you know this happened, that happened. It's all negative. You
right.
know what I mean? And you like that's why I feel like there's a lot of problems like in the world because like the news we're watching is all the bad stuff,
Right.
and that's constantly in your head. So everyone's like, oh wow, our world's in trouble. Like
Right.
everything's bad. No, man, the
Go
world is
outside.
good. Yeah, go outside. Like it's not as bad as like you're seeing sometimes. You know what I mean? But no, that's interesting. I always think it's tough to. Like if you have somebody like a close friend of yours and they're kind of like that, it's like how do you like kind of like separate? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
It's tough, man. Like you just feel like a dick.
Yeah.
You just kind of just have to just like cut that
I
tie.
know, and you got to do what's best for you.
You really have
Always,
to, man. It's like, it's like we're all dealing with negative shit,
Mhm.
but if you're constantly focusing on the negative, that's what your life will be. I mean, your
Yep.
thoughts truly do manifest into your reality.
100%, dude.
So like what you focus on, like I'm a big believer on the energy that you put out is the energy
Yeah.
that you receive.
Yep.
So if you're always thinking about negative shit, like
That's what you're gonna see.
Yeah,
That's what's
dude.
gonna happen.
that's what's gonna happen. Like you're
Yeah.
taking all that energy in, it's going to affect the way you interact with the world. Like
100%.
I would go over there and that particular guy's always watching the news.
Uh-huh.
Always watching the
Yeah.
news. I'm like, dude, turn that shit off. Oh
Right.
man, I only just watch it every now and then.
Yeah.
Every now and then's every time I see you.
Right.
So
Right.
it's like, dude,
Right.
you're fucking up like the whole way you think about things. And
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily sure. I kind of go at things a little bit more of like a stoic approach in the sense of like I don't necessarily know if everything happens for a reason, but I just feel like some things just happen and it's how you react
How
to
you
them.
react.
And
Yep.
if I feel like if you have the right approach, like I feel like if you can have like gratitude and even the bad shit and search for the positive in there because I feel like there is positive that can come from everything,
Mhm.
whether if it's the worst thing in the world, like you can find a way and you can choose to turn that into a valuable lesson and grow from it.
Mhm.
But I mean, you just got to have that mindset.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
100%. 100%. It's an interesting topic. That whole like, you are the 5 people you hang around.
I really believe that,
Yep.
man. And it's just like, I think my friend said this to me one time because you mentioned like I've been doing a lot of traveling, and he goes, dude, you got to go places to go places.
Right.
Like, dude, you got to fucking go and meet people
Mhm.
and put yourself out there and like get into these positive environments and
Mhm.
connect with people that are like operating on like the same frequency as you are, like
Yeah.
on a higher vibration, like not focusing on the petty shit, like focusing
Right.
on the big goals, man,
Big
trying to
picture.
change shit.
Yep. 100%, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure, man. So, I was gonna ask you a question, but I lost my train of thought. I went on that fucking ramble.
I know, dude. That was my fault. I kind of encouraged it.
Dude, I'm all about it, dude. I'm
Yeah.
all about it. Positivity is so important, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if there is a good way to actually cut somebody off. You just
Yeah.
got to do it.
Just I agree. It's not like ignoring their calls. You just like make up excuses. Like, hey, dude, you want to hang out tonight? It's like, oh no, I've already got this planned. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just like it is what you just start to wean them off.
Yeah, yeah, you just kind of do that. I have a guy who's like a brother, and he's still like family to me, but we just don't really hang out as much anymore,
Hmm.
unfortunately. But like I just kind of got to the point where like he was going through some shit, so like he believes that too. So we talked about it. He's like, man, I just kind of just separated myself from everybody while I was dealing with that
Yeah,
because like I didn't want to bring everybody else down.
yeah.
So I can respect that, and like I can remember last time I reached out to him, like I called him, left a message, then text him. He never responded back, so I'm like, well, I did my part.
Right,
I guess that's it.
right.
You know what I mean?
100%, man.
So it's just kind of just one of those things. How do you like to deal with that? Like, I mean,
It's, I mean, it's tough. Like, I try to be aware. Like, I try to be aware of who I'm around, and I try to be aware of like my thoughts, like
yeah,
what's going on. Um, like at the gym, like a lot of times like as a trainer, you always kind of joke about like, yeah, we're a coach, but we're also like a life coach, like a
yeah,
therapist.
fucking
Like,
therapist.
like I come in there and like I maybe see like 17 to 20 people a day. Um, and you're like that's part of your job. You're like kind of hearing about like the bad in
Yeah,
their
their
life.
life.
You know what I mean? Which is another kind of interesting topic that I wouldn't mind like going into is like Instagram, like social media stuff. Like you always kind of like see the best,
Yes.
and I think it's interesting. Like I'll get some people to come in and they're just talking about like, oh, like I'm struggling right now. Like this is going on, that's going on. Like I'm really in a bad place. And then like 2 hours later, they're posting on Instagram like life is the greatest.
The best.
Look at me, I'm happy. And I think it's tough. It's because like when you get in that rabbit hole of scrolling through that feed, you're seeing like the highlight of everybody, or you're seeing somebody who's like traveling, who's here, and you're just like, oh man, I'm not doing any of this. Like my
Yeah.
life sucks. But it's like, no, you're just seeing like the highlight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And our imagination starts taking over.
Right.
Dude,
It's
like
a dangerous place,
I
man.
posted a video just right outside the store. This is nothing like a spectacular. Like it looks
Yeah.
nice, like the trees,
Right.
like but like somebody like saw me swinging the mace right there,
Hmm.
and like in their mind, they were someone was telling me about it. Like they thought like I was like in this like exotic fucking place.
Forest.
Like
Yeah, just no, it's just the woods of St.
I'm
Louis.
just like in my patio of my apartment. Like there's
Right.
like there's
But
nothing.
people like you said, people will make it up in their head. They'll be like,
Yeah,
"Oh my God, he's got that view. Like I don't have that view, or
yeah,
like I don't have that life. I'm not in the the cool like jungle or whatever." It's like, no,
yeah.
dude, that's just the woods of St. Louis
Yeah,
right
man,
there.
there's a little creek there. There's like
Right.
it's apartment buildings around,
Right.
dude. But it's like, yeah, we just we use our imagination, and maybe it's kind of fucked up, but I kind of use that to my advantage, right? I mean, don't we all? It's
Yeah.
just like we're just playing on that, just these little clips. Like I just want people to think
Dude,
like
I'll
this
yeah,
is
no,
so
yeah.
cool.
Like, dude, I'll be the first to admit, like, I'll try to manipulate like Instagram posts a lot. Like, just try to be like, look at what I'm doing.
yeah,
It's kind of cool. You know
hmm
what I mean? Like I do it all the time. Like
we all do.
and then I'll like post it, and because I'll post something, I'll see somebody doing something cool. Like one of my clients will be doing something cool. Be like, oh, I'm getting that, and I'm posting that, and then I'll kind of look back. I'll be like, man, like that might be like like that might be looked at by somebody and be like, oh man, I can't do that. But it's like, well, they've been practicing that a lot,
Yeah,
like,
they don't
and
see
then
all that
yeah, and I'll
glamour.
kind of like be like, you know, I'm dealing with my shit too, like.
Yeah.
My life isn't as good as I might portray it to be, like on Instagram.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I try to post my fuck ups on there too.
Yeah.
I don't do it as often, but like I just posted. I've been working with the steel mace and
Mhm.
trying to do more flow stuff. So there's this guy named Leo Savage. I'm not
Mhm.
sure if you're familiar
Yeah,
with
yeah,
him.
yeah.
And dude, man, I met him down on it this past
Nope.
weekend.
Yeah.
Dude, he is the most fucking just like genuine person. Like just immediately, just super authentic. Just giving you 100%. Just like I just really loved his energy.
Yeah. Humans get we I feel like people can spot a genuine person from a mile away, and you
Yeah.
can and same thing, you can spot an ingenuous person
Yeah.
from a mile away. And I think people love genuine, and people love like vulnerability
Right.
because you rarely see it.
Yeah,
Like
man.
I'm attracted to people that are like that are vulnerable, that'll talk, because dude, everybody's got their shit.
Yeah.
Everybody's got baggage, or everyone's got something that they're something going on in their family or their life, friend, whatever, a job.
Yeah.
And I love the people that will talk about it.
Yeah,
And,
dude.
and sometimes like man, I'm a super like almost overly open person. Like, oh well, shit. Like, if I got something going on, I will talk about it.
Yeah.
And sometimes like I'll be talking to someone and they'll be like, I'll kind of get that vibe of like, oh, you're not like me. You're not like that. Oh, you don't want to hear this right now. Or like sometimes maybe pry a little too much. Like,
Yeah.
I want people to open up.
Yeah.
Like, show me, like, what's wrong with you? What's
Yeah.
going on? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, is there something there? You know, because I want to help. You know, at the end of the day, I want to help. Like, if I get a client who's a little quiet, like, sometimes it gets a little awkward because I'll be like, what's wrong? What's going on? Like,
Yeah.
tell me. And I'll, like, dive into, things. Oh, you're depressed right now? Okay, like, why?
Yeah.
And then you can tell they're like, no, dude, I'm not an open person. Like,
Yeah.
and I'll be like,
I'm trying to get better at like prying with people. 'Cause I have a
yeah,
hard
dude,
time
it's
with that.
tough. It's
Yeah.
tough. And I think, like, the way I do it, it's sometimes a little bit like too much in your face because I'm transparent. Like, here we go. You know,
Yeah.
I was addicted to drugs and alcohol. You want to talk about it? Let's talk
It's
about
like,
it.
hey, I'm a human too. Like,
Yeah, like
this is me.
right, 100%. But I just want like openness. Like,
Yeah.
let me hear. What's your baggage? You know?
Yeah, man. Like, let's just be
Let's
open
figure it out.
and just like have a like genuine connection and,
Yeah.
and just fucking build. We're all people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everybody is afraid to be flawed,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I feel like maybe in particular I'm a broken record. I've said this a lot, but like being here in the Midwest where it's a very conservative area,
Yep.
and there's a very particular mindset on the way things should be,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't fit that mold,
Yeah.
like you fucking feel it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
100%.
People will let you know.
Oh yeah.
So it's
100%.
like you start to feel bad
Yeah.
about thinking different or being
Yeah.
different, and it's just like, and that can cascade into a
Yeah,
whole
dude,
bunch
that's
of
funny
other
you say
shit.
that. Like, I grew up. I went to MICDS
Mhm.
from like 6th grade to sophomore in high school, and like for those of you guys that might not know MICDS, very affluent. You know, it's expensive.
It's like
and
a fucking college campus.
right, it's like it's beautiful, but there's a lot of like, to do people there. And I remember like even like within my circle of friends when I was like playing baseball or I was like opening a gym or like what do you do for a living? Are you a doctor, lawyer? No, I'm a strength coach. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's almost like looked down upon, and it was like,
Yeah.
oh man, and that was tough for me.
Yeah.
Like that was these are my group of almost like some of my group of friends like. What are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Why aren't you going into business school, or why aren't you going, get
Right.
your law degree? It's like, because I don't want to.
Yeah, like you grew up with a peer set of like people that were like their parents were like making sure that they were going to be
100%.
at a very top level of
Yep.
society.
And there's goods and bads. Like, I was around like a lot of successful
You get
people.
to see a lot of good
A
shit.
lot of
opens
good
your mind.
shit. Yep. And these are all good people, but there's almost sometimes like an expectation of, are you going to be a doctor, lawyer, or a successful businessman?
Yeah.
And I don't know what I like. I own a gym. I don't know if you would call me an entrepreneur. I don't know what that. Like I hate the people that are like I'm an entrepreneur. Well, it's
Yeah.
like So I guess I'm kind of like that.
Yeah.
But like I own a gym and I'm kind of doing I've got some other things that I'm kind of like working
Yeah.
on, which like I feel awkward sometimes like telling some of my friends' parents that. Because they're like, oh, so you're not doing anything with your life. Like, no,
Doing a
just
lot
because
of stuff.
just because I'm not in like, insurance or I'm not a lawyer or
Yeah,
a
you're not
doctor.
working some Fortune 500.
Right.
At a fucking desk all day.
Right.
But no, yeah, I feel like as people, we have a tendency to make things sound better than they really are.
Yep.
I have a hard time with that. I downplay almost probably to a fault.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, yeah, I feel like, yeah, I did this. You can do it too. Like, it's not that
Right.
big of a deal.
Right.
I do that with fighting a lot. Like, people, oh, dude, you fought like pro and
Yeah.
you did this. I'm like, yeah, man, like, I did that. Like, that's
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
But, like, you could probably do that too. Like, it's not that hard. Like,
Right.
and not to downplay the successes, but it's just like, I mean, it just takes like just dedication and effort, and you can really do it. So I just have a hard time downplaying, like
Yeah.
like upplaying things because I think people make shit sound way better than it really is.
Oh, 100%.
Often, it's
Yeah.
like, oh man, I'm the first to do this. It's like, yeah, that's cool. You ran a race.
Yeah. Exactly. Sweet. What's next?
Yeah, like
You
what's
know?
next? Let's not sit on that too long, man.
Right.
But where are we going?
Did you see the Joe Rogan podcast with Elon Musk? Did you listen to that one?
I listened to it.
Dude, that was wild.
He is a very calculated man.
Elon?
Elon, like
Yeah.
it's like I don't know like what the fuck he was thinking, but he was very
Yeah.
deliberate.
Dude,
with his words.
I'm fascinated by him.
Yeah.
I loved that podcast. That was awesome.
Those are great.
Like, wait, like, where are we going? You know what I mean? Like so in the gym I got reached out to a couple weeks ago. It's this company in San Francisco and they do like athlete like mind training for the athlete and it's like a virtual reality headset
Mm.
and you're like in a virtual gym and you're like, you know, clicking a button when a ball to try to get into a circle and it's like mind games and stuff.
No.
But I downloaded this app on there and it was like Face Your Fears. And you can like you get yourself in a plane crash
Oh shit.
or you can like be like locked in a room with like rats and spiders and stuff and it's so real and you can also do like you could put yourself in like a beach and I'm like where is our world going, you know, it's like it's
Dude.
crazy like okay
Yeah.
so like one thing I think about it's like okay like are people not going to go on vacation like can you put a sandbox in your basement, strap up your virtual reality headset, have a fan blowing and you're looking like out into the water and you're
Yeah.
at the beach, you
Yeah, I
know?
mean, because I guess at that point, I guess what is, I guess what's dictating your experience? Like, what is
Right.
your reality? I
Right.
mean, it is the mind.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely the mind. Yeah, maybe you got like a heat lamp. You can feel the heat. You got the
Yeah.
wind.
Well, that's it, and that's kind of the stuff they started to go off on Elon and Joe on that podcast, and I just
Yeah.
was listening. I was like, man, where are we going, and where are we gonna be in like 20 years? Like, look at where we were like 40 years ago
Oh, yeah.
to now, and like
I mean,
where are we gonna
computers
be?
used to be the size of a room,
Right
and then now they all fit in our
in our
pockets.
pocket, and
Yeah.
everybody's got one.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Like in the more technology we get, and the smarter people get, the faster it goes.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm excited to see like
It's
where we're
fascinating.
going. Those are people that are far smarter than me,
Dude, those
figuring
guys
all
are
that stuff
geniuses.
out.
I don't
Yep.
know how I necessarily feel about kind of like the merging
Uh huh.
of the technology with like us,
Yeah.
like on a like biological level. But I mean, we're already kind of doing that anyway. But like, I don't know.
It's
It's
interesting.
interesting because like, have you seen like some people have already like gotten implants and shit like at their jobs to
Yep.
like to buy stuff in the cafeteria and
Right.
whatnot? It's like
Right.
I don't know if I can do that.
I know. Yeah. It's an you know, and that's you know. Hopefully there'll be some like I know Elon or Joe were talking about like government regulations with certain things, but it's I mean if it gets like some of this technology gets in the wrong hands, man, we
Yeah.
could be there could be
Dude,
some trouble.
I wonder like what technology do we have that we just don't know about,
Right.
right? Because I feel like the military tends to have a lot of fucking technology that
Mhm.
doesn't get released to the public
Yeah.
until like 2 decades after they've already had
Right.
it. It's just
Right.
like, so what do they fucking
I
have?
know.
That is the question, Stu
What's
Beath.
what's coming out? What are we where are we going to be in 10, 15, 20 years?
Yeah, how are we going to implement this to help clients?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, sorry for getting on a rant there. I just think that stuff's fascinating.
No, it is fascinating stuff, dude. That Elon Musk one was great, man. Like, uh, him talking about the tunnels,
Mhm.
and he was saying that he's like, yeah, I mean, we'll just create like a vacuum, and then you have like a mag levitator, and you go as fast as you want.
Yeah.
I was like, well, how fucking fast is that, dude?
Yeah,
Like,
and I'm also thinking like, wow, you are a lot smarter than I am, man.
yeah, man, I'm just not that smart.
No.
That's okay though. That is okay.
Did you get good grades in school?
No, well, I got all right grades, so I passed. Like, I mean, A's and B's.
Mhm.
I wasn't like a bad student, but like I think back, I want to go see like my ACT score in high school was like a 21 maybe.
Yeah, dude,
Like,
I was 18.
yeah, I think the
That's
first time I
so
took it, it was
bad.
19,
Uh-huh.
and then I think I took it twice, and I think the second time I got it to 21, and it was not good, dude.
Yeah, dude, I was the worst student, the worst test taker.
Yeah,
And I would, oh man, like school for me was bad.
yeah.
Like I just, I remember like it was tough because I was so like self-conscious about it too.
yeah,
Like I would get bad grades and I was kind of like a little bit of a joke around. Like everybody knew like I did terrible,
yeah,
and I was like so self-conscious. I like literally spent like my high school and college years like in class staring down at the sheet and like praying to God like please don't call me, please don't call me, please don't
yeah.
call me. You know?
Dude, I fucking use my social abilities well. Now I think about it, I would always, I always find kids to help me.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Heck yeah, dude. Same here.
dude, I always
Same, dude.
freshman
That was how I
year-
survived.
freshman year for like math class, I had this one guy. I would meet him after first hour. I'd get his homework. He'd let me
Yeah.
copy it. I'd
Uh-huh.
get back to him third hour.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And then like I had this other kid.
Or
I had,
schmooze like teachers, you know,
yeah,
like
dude, just use
pass
your
me,
social ability.
pass
Just
me.
like
How
help
can
me.
I get you to, you know,
Yeah.
how can I get you to like me so you just pass me?
Yeah, dude. Like, I didn't really start appreciating learning until after I graduated, like, with my undergrad.
Yeah. I didn't appreciate learning until I found something I wanted to learn about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So when
Like,
was that for you?
I mean, honestly, after college,
Yeah.
like I started, like, and like listening to like, and figuring out like the best way I learn. Like, I love podcasts.
Mhm.
I love reading like, love reading like short form articles, like a 1 page article, like
Mhm.
about like a, a strength, like exercise or strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
But I also love like I like just hearing people talk. Like, very
Yeah.
audio like learner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I didn't find anything like I wasn't a big learner. I was never a big reader growing up.
Mhm.
And because I just didn't care. I never found anything that I really like wanted to sink my teeth into. Growing up, it was like baseball,
Yeah.
and I went to the batting cage. I would hit over and over and over, and I loved it. I loved like working out,
Mhm.
And it wasn't until like after college when I figured out like, okay. And I also kind of like this like business entrepreneurship like realm thingy. I don't know what it is, this
Yeah.
genre. And so I'm like, or like motivation, like the Andy
Yeah.
Frisellas, the
Kinda like
Gary Vaynerchuk's,
self-improvement.
Tim Ferriss, like that type of stuff,
Yeah.
self-improvement. Like I love that stuff, and I love hearing it. I love learning about it.
Yeah.
I listen to some of those guys, and I try to regurgitate that,
Mhm.
with some of my, with like my clients, even like, if they don't solicit my advice on it, I'll give it to
They're
them.
getting it regardless.
Yeah, because I'm practicing, I'm learning.
What did you study in college?
Majored in communications and then minored in physical education.
Okay.
So, which I'm glad. The
Yeah.
communication thing, it was interesting. Like, and I'm not gonna sit here and say like I got a lot out of college and my education, because I mean I was literally just trying to pass,
Mhm.
and I was a baseball player in college. That's all I cared about, and partying and hanging with friends.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, communications. But it was you learn a lot about like messages and like how people communicate. So that was like kind of a good like start to like some of the things that I'm interested in now, like communication.
Yeah.
Like, how are we talking to one another or communicating with one another? I think it's interesting now. Like, I train some like high school athletes or some high school kids, and dude, they communicate with their friends on Snapchat. Like, they don't even text. They just like
Yeah.
send like selfie snaps and then
Mhm.
like put a little message like, you know, I'm at the gym. What are you doing?
Yep.
And I'm
A
like,
lot of kids do
whoa,
that.
where are we? Yeah, that's
Snapchat.
interesting. And I'm not saying it's bad or wrong. It's just like interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting way, like place that we're going.
Hmm.
Yeah. My youngest brother, he just got Instagram, but for the longest time, he only had Snapchat.
Yeah,
That was it. Like
right.
that's just what they're doing. Like no face. I think I heard somebody say, and I don't know if it's true. I didn't look it up,
Hmm.
but like, something like 40% of millennials have like gotten off of Facebook
Yeah,
or something like that. Like,
there's not. Yeah, like if you look at Facebook, it's a lot of older people. I think the average user of Facebook is like 40 something.
really, I kind of
Yeah,
despise it nowadays. Like, I don't like to get
yeah.
on there.
Like, yeah. I mean, I just use it like business wise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we'll do like some Facebook stuff like with ads and
Yeah.
to try to reach people. But like, I'm not really on like my personal face. Like Instagram, I'm all over Instagram. I
I'm all
love
over that shit,
Instagram.
dude. You get
I've
those dopamine hits,
I know,
man.
dude. Yeah, exactly. It's so true. My Instagram, like people talk about like dopamine hits. Like I don't give a shit about like likes. Like I care. Like I never look. I don't give a shit about likes. But like I'll get a dopamine hit when I post a post, and I'm like, oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Or like I'll see like the views, like 300 people saw that. I'll be like, awesome.
Yeah.
If I post like a good message,
Yeah.
a good one, and I get that dopamine hit, I'm like, awesome. And then I'll see like, oh, 400 people saw that, like, awesome.
Yeah, I like that, and it's less about the likes and more about the engagement. I
Engagement is
like the engage. It's
huge.
like, man, can I entice somebody to actually engage with me
Yep.
right there? You know,
Yep.
like did I hit a chord with them?
Mm-hmm.
And if I can do that, I'm just like, man, that's awesome. I've had a
Yeah.
few people tell me on there like, dude, you should write a book, and like, yeah, like
That's
that's a
cool.
plan like
Yeah.
in the future. That'd be cool, but it's like it's kind of cool to get that feedback that people can see me doing
Yeah,
that.
and watch other people. Like, I always like, not that I'm not trying to like plug anybody. Like First Form, like look at their employees and their athletes.
They do it right.
They get so much engagement. Like
Yeah,
they're
man.
in like a lot of them. They post. They're pretty out there with their posts, and
Mhm.
it's a lot of like, and I'm not a big fan of myself like on camera talking and stuff like that. But like, if you look at some of their posts, they get so much engagement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's really interesting because like I'll post stuff, and a lot of like the stuff I do on Instagram is literally just like I hope I'm providing value, but it's not stuff that like people might engage on. Like it's just me posting a video of like, here is a 25-year-old woman who looks pretty good, who's doing squats and deadlifts and
Right.
this and that. Like maybe there's another girl out there who sees that and like, okay, I'm gonna start doing that. You know
Right.
what I mean? But like if you watch these like these first form people, man, they just have it down. They
Yeah.
get engagement. They've got tens of thousands of followers.
Yes,
You
yes,
know.
yes, yes. I mean, obviously, it helps to have that backing of that brand that's
Hmm.
been built. I mean, that's a
Yep.
fantastic brand.
Yep.
But yeah, dude, they just do it right. Like you can tell it comes from a genuine place. They're consistent with it,
Yeah.
right? Constantly putting out good content. And they have a great leader in Andy. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, Andy Frisella, for the folks who are listening, if you don't know who he is, go check him out, man. He has an amazing podcast called the MFCEO Project.
Co-host with my guy Vaughn.
Vaughn,
He's one of my clients. He's the
Vaughn the
man.
Impaler.
Vaughn, yeah, Vaughn Swoller. He's my guy.
DJ God.
Yeah, exactly.
I love
No,
that guy.
no, but like it's crazy too. And like I've got since we opened Output, we do a lot of the first form video shoots. We have a lot of their athletes there. A lot of their employees will come and work out, and so I've gotten to know them, and they are the exact same like in person as they are on their Instagram and their
Yeah.
videos. Like they are these like motivated, educated like people that want other people to succeed.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like I know Andy always gets this question like, how do you build that culture? And I wonder, like, how has he done that? Like, how has he rallied? Like, how has he gotten like some of these guys, like Aaron Subners, Will Grumpke, like some of these employees, like these awesome Jarrett Bond, like how has he gotten these amazing people into his company?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to figure that out. Like, how
I think it's literally just been him being his authentic
On the-
self,
yeah.
and just being like,
'Cause,
having a
yeah,
great
dude, that's
team.
such like when you're your authentic self, like you're going to attract the right people.
Yeah, man, he's just always been himself. Like I said, I had the like is dude. I look back on the opportunity to having been able to like work with Andy.
Mm-hmm.
I worked at his company, Supplement Superstore, in 2009 and 2010, and like at that time, he was still doing all the interviews. So like I interviewed with him and going to like the team meetings and stuff, and like kind of getting to witness him at that point, and like seeing kind of like they had already been in business since '99 at that time, so
Mhm.
they're already 10 years in.
Yeah.
But I mean, you'll hear him talk like that first 10 years was like just learning, and it wasn't until that 10-year mark that they started really picking up a
Mhm.
lot of steam and just boom, right where they are
Right.
now. So at that time, dude, like interacting with Andy and like seeing him now, like it's the exact same fucking person. Like
Right.
he's always been himself, and he's just very real. He's like, dude, and then like he'll just give it to you.
Yeah.
And then like that's very like motivating. I feel like I said before, like the energy you put out is the energy you receive.
Yeah.
and I
People
feel like
people are
he's just done
attracted to that. People are attracted to that like genuineness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's hard sometimes to be genuine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I try like I try to be the most genuine I can, like, but then I'll post like an Instagram, I'll be like, man, I think I might have had some ulterior motives with that Instagram. Like I just wanted to show like this person doing something cool. You know what I mean? Like that's not really providing any value. It's hard to be to be like genuine and real sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think that's okay.
Because
Sometimes
you want to show like the best.
But isn't that real too, though? Just sometimes we just want
Right.
to post cool shit.
Yeah,
Like we
100%.
just want to be cool. Like we want
Yeah.
to feel cool. Like
Yeah.
that's like a valid thing. Like I've heard Andy talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude, that's a problem to be
Yeah.
solved. Like
Right.
we want to be cool.
Yeah.
I'm just like, is that a real problem? But then like I'll watch like Shark Tank or something,
Mhm.
and like some of these things that they had. This one thing sticks out in particular. It was like a spats for men or some shit, and it had like fake ass implants, or maybe it was like fake
Yeah, yeah,
chest
yeah.
implants. It was like a shirt or something. Either way,
Right.
the purpose was to
I-
make dudes feel cool about themselves, and I'm just like,
Solving a problem.
that's a fucking problem. I guess
Yeah,
people have,
yeah,
dude.
and they're solving it.
Yeah, man, but that shit's super encouraging. So like I think back to then when like first form, dude, they only had at that time they had level 1.
Hmm.
I think they had 3 flavors: chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry.
Yeah.
They had ignition. They had ignition,
Hmm.
and those were the only 2 products whenever I started there. And then they added Formula 1.
Yep.
And then that's whenever I left. But I remember like at that time I just graduated with my undergrad, and I moved to Texas. But I was like in the back of my head, I was like, man, like this is the ground floor of something amazing.
Yep.
I probably should stay here, but I didn't. It's just life and shit.
Hmm.
But like to see that and to see where they are now, that's like the most encouraging thing
It's
in the fucking
unbelievable.
world. It's like
I know.
that's a real person,
Yeah.
and they just did shit, and here
Yeah.
they are today.
And now
like,
he's flying around in private jets. He's driving Lambos, Ferraris. Like that dude made it. You know
dude,
what I mean?
yeah, and like he's still making it. Like he's.
I
only
know.
playing-
Like he would hear somebody say, "You made it," and be like, "No, nowhere near where."
Well,
I wanna be."
he's definitely mastered the money game of
Yeah.
life. You know, there's a lot of aspects to it, but he's definitely he's got that aspect down
Mm-hmm.
for sure. You know
100%.
what I mean? So that's just super encouraging to see that and to know that we can do that here in St. Louis, dude.
Yeah.
And like your gym has built that connection with that company. So
Yeah.
how'd you go about making that
So yeah, so I
partnership?
mean, so I listened to the MFCEO project before we started Output. I was a big fan, and I saw what he was doing,
Yeah.
um, and I knew like he, supplements like supplement fitness. It's kind of a similar like they're like cousins,
Yeah.
industry wise. So when we opened Output, I was like, we've got to find a way to get like first form going.
Dude, that's the
Yep.
name in the
One of my
city.
business partners, Paul, is really good friends with this Nick White. He's a world class power lifter. He's a
Yeah, I
first form
follow him.
athlete.
Dude,
Yeah,
I follow you guys close, dude.
yeah,
I see the people coming through
dude.
there,
Yeah,
but
but I
you
mean we
guys
got
have some
some
good
yeah
shit going
world.
on.
So he's a world class power lifter, first form athlete.
Yeah.
And he's one of our guys. Like I love Nick. Such a good dude too. But before I got to know him, Paul was telling me about him. I was like, oh, first form, like we need to get him in here. And so I started to get really like get some of these first form people in there when Nick White did he did like an athlete photo shoot, and they
Uh-huh.
had the whole first form content team come out, and they filmed him. They loved the gym. They loved, natural light, all this other good stuff. It was
Yeah.
a perfect place to shoot. So they're like, can we, bring some other athletes here sometime? I was like, yes. So
Yes.
we've just completely opened our doors to anything and everything first form.
Absolutely,
And
as
the
you should.
amount, right, and the amount of like, and it's a kind of a good business lesson, I guess. It's like the amount of exposure we've gotten. They had the Summer Smash.
Yeah, yeah.
It's petty. We made probably $40, but like four people came in and did a $10 drop in just because they wanted to come and work out Output where the first form athletes have been. And
Absolutely.
it's like, whoa, this is like kind of cool, and like Output, every time like First Form will post a video and they'll tag us, of one of their athletes at our gym, like we immediately get a bunch more followers. So it's kind of like building your brand. You want to be
Absolutely.
associated with successful brands.
Yeah, that's how you I mean, that's how you build, your own value
Yeah,
by
and I've just
associating.
gotten really close with with some of their guys on their content team and some of
Mhm.
their employees, and like I said, man, they're just all good people. They're like in the beginning, it was kind of like a business like relationship type thing where it was like, okay, how this is gonna help me out, this is gonna help Output out. But now it's like, wait a minute, these dudes are like these are good dudes. Like I
Yeah.
like these guys.
Yeah, when
Like
did that shift happen for you?
when I started to like kind of realize, oh, these are good dudes. The
Yeah.
second I met them,
Yeah.
in person.
Yeah.
These guys aren't just fake on their Instagram. These are real, like genuine good dudes.
Yeah, yeah, and then at that point it was just like, all right, man, like let's build something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, man, it's just they bring a good energy when they come into the gym too. Like I know they've come in a couple Saturday mornings, and I mean they get after it, and the energy they have in there, it like elevates like our clientele. Like we'll
Nice.
have like 10, 15 people in there working out, and they'll be like, "Look at those first form people over there just getting after it."
Yeah.
It's like it's inspiring. It's good stuff.
Do they do a lot of like CrossFit type
Yeah, I
workouts?
know like some of those guys. Yeah, there's a lot of CrossFit. There's some powerlifting. I mean, they've got a guy Sean McDonough who came in. He's like I want to say he's probably 215, 220 pounds, and he tried to pull 800 pounds. He pulled like 750,
Yeah.
and then he tried to pull. I mean, he's just like pound for pound, probably the strongest dude I've ever
Strong
seen.
motherfucker,
I
dude.
mean, dude, like deadlifting that kind of weight at a body weight of like 215, it's unreal. So they do like powerlifting, a lot of CrossFit. I feel like they're really into that like that mindset, like how far can I push this?
Yeah.
How can I get myself kind of find that line and then go past that line of
Yeah.
like comfortability?
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely identify with a piece of that.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's like my favorite style of training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you gotta find, yeah, and like we talked about earlier when we first started, man, it's finding out what works for you.
Right.
I go back and forth, dude. I'll do some powerlifting stuff. I'll do some CrossFit stuff. I'll do some mind, like, okay, how can I just kill myself in the gym right now?
Yeah.
And then I'll do like yoga, bodybuilding, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of whatever I'm feeling.
Yeah, I like to find just like it's like just trying to find that balance
Yeah.
as far as, like opening up the body, getting that mobility and
Mhm.
like trying to find some sort of practice that's almost like a I guess all forms of exercise can be like a meditation, but
Yeah.
just something to kind of really slow down the body to where you're not really killing it
Mhm.
every day, but then mixing in those workouts
Yeah.
to where it's like you're
Fi-
really hitting it.
finding out what works for you and
Yeah.
finding out what's sustainable. You know what I mean?
Sustainability is
Sustainability.
man, sustainability, longevity.
Yeah.
I've kind of found that a lot of my approach has been geared towards just um, not necessarily like max performance, but just being able just operate in life just to the best of my ability, and then just being able to go like and move into advanced age gracefully. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And
100%.
still be able to do what I'm doing now at like 70.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit
So
modified, right?
what's your like what's like the long term goal fitness wise, or like when I say fitness or like life wise, like is your goal like you mentioned earlier like live to 100 plus,
Yeah.
like that's your like that's kind of like what you're thinking about when you're eating and working out and stuff, like how can I live the
Yeah.
longest?
Yeah.
That's dude, that's definitely in the back of my mind too right now. Like so tomorrow I'm maxing on my bench press and I'm trying to get 300 pounds, so that's been a big thing for me the
It's
last couple months. I
huge,
know, dude,
dude.
I've never done it. And I think it's a big deal, and then you go into my into the gym, and some of the guys we have in there like a 300 pounds is like their warm up, but so it is. But for me that's like a big deal. And it's something I've been am going. But I feel like also at the same time, like when my workouts, my nutrition, and my lifestyle right now is definitely geared toward like I want to be playing like catch with my great grandson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I'm 90 years old,
Yeah.
I want to be like physically
Yeah.
there, mentally there.
Yeah.
To be able to, live a quality life for a long ass time.
Yeah, I've really shifted definitely towards longevity and just like at this point, really just like fixing all of those like imbalances that I
Mm.
have, and just increasing those ranges of motion.
Yeah.
Like all those places that I'm tight, I just don't have like the proper range of motion.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I'm really focusing on. I've been focusing probably the past year, like opening up my hips, but then I realized, well, I gotta go fucking lower than that. Like I gotta start with my ankles because my ankles are
Right.
so tight.
No,
You know, it's like
absolutely.
start at your feet and then work your way up that kinetic chain,
Definitely.
and then just kind of fix it from there. So yeah, just focused on just having that longevity.
Yep.
Is kind of where my mindset has been,
100%.
and that's kind of one of those things that's really hard to teach people.
Yeah. It's a lifestyle. It's a
Yeah.
long game. It's
Yeah.
it's tough to teach. It's tough to like to think about because everybody wants it now.
Yeah.
You want it now. And it's not like that.
Nothing happens
yeah,
overnight.
right. Fitness, nutrition, like it's a what's sustainable and what can I do long term.
Right. Right. Dude, so this has been an awesome conversation.
Yeah.
What's next for Output, or what's some of the cool things you guys got going on, or is there anything that you want to like
Yeah.
promote
So
and
I mean,
tell folks
we're
about?
yeah, like right now we're trying to figure out how to expand our building. Right now we got 4,200 square feet. I don't know if we're gonna try to expand within our current location or if we're gonna try to open up a second location. But we're looking to like I said, man, we want to go big.
Where can people find you if they want to come check out your gym?
Yeah, so we're at 1429 Strassner in Hanley Industrial, Brentwood, Missouri.
Yep.
Instagram at Output Performance, and then my personal one's at SBEATH, Beath. You kind of follow some stuff there. Output, we post a lot of our athletes, and then on mine I post a lot of different things like just random exercises that I have people do.
Yeah.
So it's all good stuff.
Yeah, man. You guys got a lot of great things going on, and I'll make sure to put all your socials and everything
Cool.
in the notes so people can get a hold of you.
Definitely.
Sweet, man. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, I appreciate you.
Yeah, man, I had a
fucking-
blast. This was fun.
Yeah, dude. This was a great time. We'll have to try to do it again.
For sure, dude.
All right, brother.
All right.
Peace.